Imagine you walk into a store and see two identical boxes of cereal. Same brand, same ingredients, same weight, but one box is priced at $5 and the other is $15. Most of us would call that a scam and grab the $5 box immediately. But in the stock market, millions of people, including the world's biggest hedge funds, are fighting over the $15 box. They are buying a more expensive version of the exact same 500 companies. Today, we are breaking down VOO versus SPY. Same index, same stocks, but one costs noticeably more. So why on earth would anyone pay a premium for the same result? I'm Tony, and here at Grow with Tony, we strip away the financial jargon so you can actually grow your wealth with a clear strategy. Quick heads up before we start. Everything today is educational only and reflects my own perspective, not personalized investment advice, so please use your own judgment before putting money on the line. Before we get to the why, we have to clear up a misconception that trips up almost every new investor. Open your brokerage app and you will see a price for each fund. One of them will look more expensive than the other, and people see that and think they cannot afford it, or that they are getting less for their money. Here is the truth. That share price is an illusion. Think of it like a pizza. One fund is a pizza cut into 10 slices. The other is the same pizza cut into 8. A single slice from the 8-slice pizza costs more, but the pizza is exactly the same size. Whether you buy a share of one or the other, you are buying a tiny piece of the 500 largest companies in the United States. If the index goes up 1%, both of your shares go up roughly 1%, no matter what the sticker price was. So if the share price is not the real difference, what is? This is where we move from the price of a share to the cost of owning the fund. In the fund world, that cost is called the expense ratio. It is the annual percentage the fund company takes to run the fund. You never get a bill in the mail. It comes quietly out of the fund's assets. Here are the real numbers. VOO, run by Vanguard, has an expense ratio of 0.03%. SPY, run by State Street, has a gross expense ratio of just under 0.1%. Line those up, and SPY costs about 3 times more than VOO for the same 500 companies. 3 times more sounds alarming. So let's translate it into actual dollars, because that is the part nobody does. Say you have $10,000 invested. In VOO, you would pay about $3 a year. In SPY, about $9.45. The difference is roughly $6 a year. That is one fancy coffee. It is not going to make or break your retirement. Now scale it up. On $100,000, you are looking at about $30 a year versus about $95, a difference of roughly $65. Real money, but still small next to a 6-figure portfolio. Where it genuinely bites is at large balances held for decades, because that gap quietly compounds for 30 or 40 years. It is a slow leak in the boat. And here is the perspective almost nobody gives you. Vanguard states that the average expense ratio of similar funds is 0.72%. Put both of our funds next to that number and you realize something important. You are not arguing about expensive versus cheap. You are arguing about which bargain is slightly cheaper. So if VOO is cheaper for the same thing, why does SPY still exist? For that, look at when each one was born. SPY started on January 22nd, 1993. State Street says it was the very first exchange-traded fund listed in the United States. Because it was created in that era, it was built using an older legal structure called a unit investment trust. Think of it as a locked box that follows its original recipe very strictly. It is simply less flexible than the modern structure. VOO arrived much later, in September of 2010, built as an open-end fund. That is the modern structure, and it gives the people running the fund more room to operate efficiently. This is a structural difference, not a sign that one company is greedier than the other. SPY is operating under an older set of rules because that is how it was launched decades ago. But the real reason SPY is still enormous has nothing to do with long-term investors like you. It is about the institutional whales. You and I care about cost. The hedge funds, the high-frequency traders, the billion-dollar banks, they care about something else entirely: liquidity. Liquidity is how fast you can buy or sell a massive position without moving the price against yourself. SPY has been around the longest and is the most heavily traded fund on the market. If a hedge fund wants to move 10 million shares in 10 seconds, they do it there. In a thinner fund, an order that size could push the price and cost them money on their own trade. Then there is the options market, and this is where SPY really separates itself. Options are contracts traders use to bet on a price move or to protect a portfolio. The options market on SPY is extraordinarily deep, meaning there are buyers and sellers at almost every price and expiration you can imagine. VOO has options too, but nowhere near that depth. For a trader holding a position for a week or a single day, an annual fee is completely irrelevant. They will never hold it long enough to pay a full year of it. What they need is the ability to get in and out instantly. So we have two funds, one built for the marathon, the other built for the sprint. SPY is not worse than VOO. It is aimed at a different user. Now for the question almost nobody answers. What if you already own the more expensive one? If you hold it inside a retirement account like a 401k or an IRA, switching is simple. Selling one fund to buy another in those accounts does not create a tax bill. You can move over and start paying the lower fee right away. A regular taxable brokerage account is a completely different story. There, selling a fund that has gone up realizes what is called a capital gain, and you owe tax on that profit in the year you sell. Think about what that means. Depending on how much your investment has grown, that tax bill could be hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and you triggered it to save $65 a year. It could take a decade or more just to break even on that decision. So in a taxable account, the calmer move is usually to leave what you already own alone and simply point new money at the cheaper fund from now on. You lower your average cost over time without handing a chunk of your portfolio to the tax bill today. This does depend on your own gains and your tax situation, so it is worth checking your specific numbers. So here is the short version of what to do. Before you buy either one, check the current expense ratio on the fund's own official page, because fees can change, and that is the only source worth trusting. If you are buying and holding or investing a set amount every month, the cheaper fund is the sensible default. If you actively trade or use options, the older, heavily traded fund is a perfectly reasonable tool. If you already hold the expensive one in a taxable account, check the tax cost before you sell anything, and most importantly, do not spend your energy flipping back and forth over a fraction of 1%. Either way, you own the 500 largest companies in the United States, which is a solid foundation. Staying consistent matters far more than the tiny gap between these two. The lesson here is bigger than two tickers. The financial industry loves to make things look complicated so it can charge you for managing that complexity. They want you to believe the more famous option must be the better one. In index funds, the only question that really matters is how much of your money stays in your pocket. So ask yourself which one you actually are. A trader needs speed and flexibility. An investor needs efficiency and low cost. Most of us are investors, yet we buy the famous ticker without realizing we are paying for features we will never use. Now I want to hear from you. Would you rather hold the industry standard that costs a little more, or the cheaper alternative that does the same job? Let me know in the comments. And if this helped, hit subscribe so you can stop guessing with your money and start growing with a plan. I'll see you in the next one.